So Roe vs. Wade has been overturned as of June 24th, 2022. You've probably seen a lot of this on social media or on the news with people speaking out against it. But if you're not fully aware of this situation, here's kind of what you need to know. So Roe vs. Wade is a legal case from 1973 in which an unmarried pregnant woman under the alias Jane Roe challenged Texas abortion laws. See, at the time, abortion was illegal except for cases of a medical emergency in which the mother's life is in jeopardy. So what came from this is a set of guidelines stating when an abortion outside of a medical emergency can be sought. And this kind of covers cases of unplanned or unwanted pregnancies. And the guidelines are kind of as follows. Point 1, during the first trimester of pregnancy, which is the first 12 weeks of gestation, the state cannot regulate abortion, the only requirement being that a licensed physician carry out the procedure. Point 2, during the second trimester, which is 12 to 24 weeks of gestation, the state can regulate each case of abortion, and it's kind of dependent on the health of the mother. And the third and final point is during the last trimester, which is 24 to 36 weeks of gestation, the state prioritizes the protecting potential human life. And potential life here is that of the fetus. And it prioritizes the potential life over the rights of the mother to choose whether she wants to carry the pregnancy to term and delivery, or if she elects for an abortion. And again, this doesn't include cases of emergencies where the mother's life is in jeopardy. So having these guidelines in place kind of allowed for elective abortions as long as the right criteria was met. But what's become a debate is the idea of potential life. And more specifically, when does a fetus become a life that is protected under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? So the clause from the 14th Amendment that keeps getting referred to is this: "Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws." So it is this idea of potential life that has been the point of contention when it comes to the topic of abortion. The thought is that by electing for an abortion, the rights and the right to life of the fetus are taken. So on a side note, which is still pretty relevant to this, is the idea of a viable fetus. Now, determining when a fetus is viable has varied over the years, some believing it starts at conception, others believing it starts at 6 weeks of gestational age, which is when there's first signs of fetal cardiac activity, and some religions view it up to 120 days when it's believed that the fetus gets its soul. The only problem with this is the timing of these. For example, at 6 weeks of gestational age, when there's first signs of detectable cardiac activity, some women may be unaware that they are even pregnant, and this leaves them without a choice except to carry out the pregnancy to term and delivery. So back to talking about potential life. So far we've been talking about the rights of the fetus, which is the potential life, and we kind of haven't really addressed the rights of the mother. So the overturning of Roe vs. Wade has pretty much taken an elective abortion off of the table, leaving each state to set their own rules for getting an abortion. This has effectively removed the rights of a mother to choose what happens to her own body. Now, before moving on, it's important to note that it's still acceptable and legal to get an abortion under a medical emergency where the mother's life is in jeopardy. But it's the cases of elective abortion that have become problematic, and it's here that the overturning of Roe vs. Wade has created an uproar. We are taught in medical school to preserve the autonomy of a patient, and autonomy is the right of a competent adult to make informed decisions about their own medical care. With abortion being regulated by the state rather than the person, the patient effectively loses autonomy, and what the medical community makes of this is yet to be determined. So that kind of brings us up to speed on what the whole Roe vs. Wade situation is, and with the result that came out on Friday of it being overturned, where it kind of leaves the topic. And there's already been a wide range of responses on this. I know Oklahoma was quick to act in, kind of banning any type of abortion outside of a medical emergency. I know there are some other rules that they put in place, trying to prevent kind of pregnancy that are unwanted, contraception, and then rules of certain criminal cases. And it does require that those cases are actually reported to police before anything can be done. And then you also have people on the other end, the legal end, that are saying, they're not going to prosecute anyone who does perform these procedures or seeks an abortion. But as this news is still fresh, the reactions are about to, probably build up, and we'll see where this goes over the next little while. So I hope this was informative, and I hope it brought you up to speed on this situation. And what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Also, if I misquoted anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. I tried to do as much research as I could on this. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.